You're watching America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Time after time after time, we are watching murderers go free. They hide behind their badges, they hide behind their white privilege, and they use the excuse that they fear for their lives to murder our young people in cold blood.
It's done.
X, my brother.
No, don't think about it.
All you self-righteous assholes do is march and destroy your own communities. Killing me won't change a goddamn thing.
It's a lot different when it's a grown black man standing around.
Checks and Balances, May 19th, y'all. Make sure you guys go check that out. And don't forget the pre-order. You guys see it below, Checks and Balances. And I can't wait, man. I can't wait to May 19th for y'all to see this project, man. And I'm gonna play a clip from Champside. Champside got a hell of a clip with Derrick James. I want y'all to listen.
Knockouts in a row, but Spence looks like the heavy-handed natural.
10 knockouts in a row against who?
Some solid guys along the way. Shawn Porter, to be fair.
Oh, man. Shawn Porter's daddy said I was going to stop the fight before the fight. Didn't he say that?
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean?
I think
No. What that meant was he was showing Shawn he's still the boss. There was a power struggle going on in the ring. And what did Shawn do when his dad did stop the fight? What did he do? He retired and didn't tell him. Asked him when the last time he talked to his dad. The night they was in the corner. He had not spoke to him anymore. So there was a power struggle going on. The father wanted to prove him that he still was the boss.
Coach James.
Wow. Interesting. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm just gonna go off of what the information has said. I'll say I'm gonna make a statement and just I believe Shawn's friends are happy. What's the brother's name? KTD. I know he has a one-syllable name. Forgive me for not knowing his name, but I remember you guys sent me a clip after the fight, and forgive me for not knowing his name, brother. What's your name? The dark-skinned strong brother. Oh fuck. Anyhow, I'm drawing a blank on his name. And I know him and Shawn are great friends. And he held back a lot, the clip that you guys saw. And the reality is probably should have happened a long time ago, you know, and should have brought somebody else in, as I suggested to the team, to bring someone else in, because there's you know what I mean, there's some contentious going. And I thought Kenny Porter blew that fight. And I thought his arrogance stepped in front of his intelligence in the post-fight press conference. Man, you never, ever killed the help. I don't know what's going on, but I'm interested to see, because I haven't seen no interviews really from either of the two. And two, I'm going to say shout out to Shawn and Shawn. Oh, that needs to be a spinoff on their podcast. 7 years ago, I did that, and they kicked me out of the arena. They said that Showtime or HBO, they own the rights. It's on video too. It's on my channel somewhere, and going live commentary. And now 7 years later, it's the coolest thing in the world to do. You know what I'm saying? I think it was Dante's Boxing Nation and I. I remember that night vividly. And they said, "No, you can't do this. HBO, Showtime, either the two. I forget what broadcast it was, but they own the rights." And now everybody does it, you know. And shout out to Dante and I being pioneers of that. Um, but I think that, and we're gonna talk about this tonight. I'm not really gonna delve into it tonight, but I just wanted to bring it up so maybe a handful of you guys chime in and talk about this. But it's a very touchy situation. But when you step in front of the talent as the manager, as the father, as the trainer, it's gonna catch up with you. Because when they get 30, 31, 32 and have kids and get married and be a man in their house, and they realize they're not a man in the business, they start to go, there's a level of resentment because hold up, I'm paying you. I'm the talent now. You know, I'm forever grateful for what you gave me. And I'm definitely um, in admiration and respect the the gene pool in which I was blessed with. But the father cannot step in front of the talent that's bringing home the bacon. And I think that's what happened there. And we're gonna talk about it tonight. Derrick James said some interesting things though about Sean Kenny Porter said he was going to stop the fight before the fight, and I spoke about this. And naturally, you guys call me a hater, but at the end of the day, this shit should have happened a long time ago. And here we are. And but I hadn't seen him. You know, I hadn't seen him, and I don't. I hadn't seen Shawn either though, so I don't know what's going on, but I know he has a podcast that maybe I need to go watch one of his podcasts, and because he's gonna have to respond to this because Shawn responds to everything, you know. And someone sent me a clip on Instagram that Shawn had Earl Spence losing like the first 4 rounds or something like that. Yeah, you a hater, Shawn. You a hater. You're a hater. I saw that clip too on Instagram. You're a hater, buddy. And but it all comes from the tree. You can't love the fruit and hate the tree. You can't hate the fruit and you know what I mean, vice versa. You know what I mean? It's a product. It's a byproduct of the nourishments in which that is put into the tree. And Shawn got to get off of that hate train. What's that man's name? Because I remember I watched I remember I had COVID and I watched everybody's stuff because I was literally in one room for like 6 days. And I watched the Port Away podcast that week. Forgive me, brother, for not knowing your name. I know you're gonna watch this. And I respect the fact that you actually wanted to say something. And I'm sure you said something to Shawn in private. And I know in private you would probably respect my opinion as well. But you know, you got to preserve that relationship over there. So I get it, no big deal. Um, but um, but yeah, I'm gonna replay Derrick James so y'all can really feel what the hell he said. It's fucking interesting.
To be fair, he did stop
Oh
Shawn
man,
Porter.
Shawn Porter's daddy said I was gonna stop the fight before the fight. Didn't he say that? So what does that mean?
I think
He no. What that meant was he was showing Shawn he's still the boss.
Mm.
There was a power struggle going on in the ring. And what did Shawn do when his dad did stop the fight? What did he do? He retired and didn't tell him. Ask him when the last time he talked to his dad.
Damn,
The night
that's
they was gonna
intense. And honestly, the last conversation I ever had with both of them was, do you think you should add somebody to the camp? And the strong answer, the strong reply was no. I tell people what to do. And that's the last conversation I ever had with the Porters in their gym at the time. And the reality is Shawn would have been a better fighter had they added someone to the team. Much better, much better. I think Kenny adds an element that only Kenny can add to Shawn. But in terms of the skill sets, the skill drilling the skills, I think it's It's easy. It's easy. Shawn is literally missing 20% more skill, and he would have been as he's gonna regret this when he gets 50 years old and he starts to go to these basketball games with his sons and football games. But I think he has two beautiful kids. I don't know if they're male or female. I know one is a boy because I believe him and Lincoln are around the same age. I don't know what he had with his second child. I believe he had, or his wife is pregnant with the second child. And when he starts going to these basketball games, football games, and soccer games, or recitals, or whatever his children choose to do, he's going to have flashpoints of how he was forced to love boxing. I believe Shawn Porter was forced to love boxing, and I can see it when hindsight, and you can see it in the relationship. You know, it's forever going to be love between the father and son, obviously, but you can see the how Shawn really didn't love boxing. I think Shawn was a great athlete, is a great athlete. I think he probably could have made the NFL as well, you know, even as a special teamer at the least, you know. I remember when Adrian Broner said Shawn rushed for 245 yards. What he said. Adrian Broner got some of the best one-liners in history, but I'm willing to bet Shawn probably didn't love boxing and probably until he got paid for it or until he was at the Olympic trials. Somewhere in there, I'm willing to bet you because I see it. I see it in him now. I see him, and I say this respectfully, I see him growing to be a man right now. You can see him gaining his independence. You can see how he's learning to navigate things. I watch his interviews. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna subscribe to the Portaway podcast because I don't know. He's not entertaining to me, but who cares? I don't give a fuck. But I can see him learning on the job. I can see him growing into his manhood, you know, and I'm happy for him. You know, I'm happy for him, and if all is true, well, where Derrick James says, I mean, I hope they can patch up their relationship later, you know, and because it's important. Father-son relationships are extremely important, and I'm sure when Kenny Porter looks back at this whole fiasco, he's going to realize the compassion that he lacked. You got to have that level of compassion. And if you lack that level of compassion, you're going to build a machine that lacks compassion. And when that machine breaks down, you cannot repair it. And I think Shawn was the machine, and Shawn broke down. You see how he responded. He, boom, boom, you know, so, but it's interesting conversation to have about father, son, and what's your, and I'm learning that on the job as well. I share with you guys often one of the more aha moments I ever had in my life. Lincoln was a young child and under 2. And I don't know how to be a father. I didn't have a father, you know, and Dre told me we were literally, I can feel this, I can still feel her words like on my skin and in my spirit. She says, it's okay to be compassionate with your son. And that was one of the more aha moments I ever had in my life. And speaking of aha moments, it's 1:55. I gotta go. I gotta pick Lincoln up at 2:30. You know, so I hope they can patch up their relationship. I don't come from a space of malice. Some of you guys may think I want to have, but I want to make this conversation bigger than Kenny and Shawn Porter, and about how you have to grow as a father. And someone has to stand up and say something. I did it the best way I know how, but obviously people who were closer, people in boxing saw it. If this is true, what's his Derrick James said, if what he says is true, everyone saw it in boxing. There's no secret, and you got to have that balance. If you lack that balance, then you get Shawn Porter lost. Thank God he's married and he has a son, and he has 2 children, or his wife is pregnant, one of the 2. And but I'm willing to bet you. Someone asked Shawn Porter, when did you fall in love with boxing? I'm willing to bet he'll probably say the Olympic trials or his first paycheck. I'm willing to bet you, because I saw it when I and not hindsight's 2020. You can see it. You know, you can see you can see him turning into a machine in training. You can see him not being passionate about fighting. You can see him just being A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you know, being very robot. Be here at 6, be here at 9, be here at 12, you know, and that's it, man. But I definitely wish them both best well as I can. I have no desire to ever speak to them again. You know, I have no desire to be their friends or reconcile or anything like that. You know what I mean? But I want them to have a good relationship, you know, and be a grandfather and be a father and then be a son and make the Porters live forever, because at the end of the day, that's what you want, man. You want your last name to live forever, man. And that's what I've been doing over COVID, man. I've been preparing my last name to be here forever. I took my money out of boxing, stopped going to fights, and I invested that money in my last name and that capital, that mental, spiritual, and financial capital in my last name. And I'm going to keep on doing it. You understand what I'm saying? Because what you need to know is fandom doesn't create generational wealth. It doesn't. It doesn't. It makes you cool, but it doesn't create generational wealth. I want to be called Mr. Hawthorne instead of cool ass Fred. You know what I mean? Funny ass Fred. I want to be called Mr. Hawthorne. I want my son to be called Mr. Hawthorne. I got to go. It's 1:58. Barbershop Conversations. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. Speaking of father and son, I'm about to go get my son right now. Talk to you soon.